When it comes to concept art, one of the most important things to keep in mind is form and function. Players need to understand what a prop or a vehicle is used for, while it still fits seamlessly into the project's aesthetics and art direction. Designing something that just looks pretty isn't enough. Concept artists need to be problem solvers. My name is Ellie Cooper and I'm the creative director here at Athena Productions. We're an outsourcing studio in the video games industry. And just as a quick heads up, before we dive in, if you're finding this sort of content helpful or inspiring, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a comment. It really helps us to know what you'd like to see more from our team here at Athena Productions. And in today's video, we'll be walking you through how to design vehicles that not only look good, but also have function, as well as final turnarounds and references for 3D modelers to use later down the line. Let's get started. For our Casino Chaos project, which you can check out a link in the description below if you want to catch up on some of our early videos, we established a modern day setting with a brutalist architectural style. So think sharp angles, rigid forms, and functional shapes. No sci-fi, no overly sleek shapes, and just a general unfriendliness to the entire design. And the design language influences everything in this project, including the vehicles. And for this particular concept, we defined the role of this vehicle early on. So it was going to be a light utility vehicle, or an LUV for short. It's capable of both on-road and off-road travel. It's faster and lighter than heavy transport, light armour for mobility. It's rugged enough and strong enough for ramming without sacrificing speed or handling. And we also considered whether this design could support variants and cosmetic skins while still feeling grounded and realistic. At this stage, we gather references from real-world military vehicles, military catalogues, and even genre-defining games such as Battlefield and Call of Duty. Each reference at this stage is selected with intention, whether for its form, level of detail, or functional elements to inspire and inform our design decisions. Once we've gathered these references, whether they're sourced by the artist or provided by the client, we begin sketching. When sketching, we always work from big to small. And with this in mind, we start with silhouette sketches in 2D. The focus here is on shapes, readability, and iteration. We don't waste time on tiny details too early on. Your first idea is rarely your best as well, so make sure you explore multiple variations. And for this project, we kept everything consistent with our brutalist design language that we had already established throughout this project. No overly rounded or elegant shapes, as we want the vehicle to look like a military machine, not a friendly civilian car. And that's a very important part of form and function. And from these rough sketches, we've narrowed down to 3 promising options. Once we had a variety of ideas, we select 3 promising options and refine them in 3D. We use very primitive shapes to begin modelling out the body of the vehicle. It's a great way for us to quickly iterate without wasting time, keeping perspective accuracy and quickly testing our silhouettes a bit more before we begin to add those medium shapes. And once the body of the vehicle is finished, we begin to model out the wheel archway. Even the wheel arches were designed with function and form in mind. So in terms of form, we're making sure to keep them sharp and brutalist instead of soft and flowing. And in terms of function, we're making sure that the wheels can actually turn and do the job that a vehicle is needing to do. And from there, we use 2D paintovers on top of 3D blockouts. And this hybrid approach is fast, flexible, and perfect for developing ideas. We're able to quickly work on top of the 3D vehicle in Photoshop to work on details such as the front of the vehicle, balancing the aggressive look needed for ramming with practical concerns like engine ventilation. Believability was key. If the vehicle looks too enclosed, it might look unrealistic. And feedback loops from both teammates and clients play a vital role throughout these early iteration phases. Once we locked in a direction, we moved into a full hard surface model in Blender. This method is more efficient for our team, who are well versed in a 3D pipeline for concept art. And since we know a turnaround sheet would be required later on, working in 3D saves us a lot of time down the road. And we focused on making sure that the vehicle has consistent design language from all angles, and made key design choices such as the placement of light armor and vehicle mounts, as well as wheel and wheel arch configuration for protection and mobility, while also keeping the vehicle's centre of gravity low to give it stability and power. At the start, we were focused on the big shapes and silhouettes, and you'll notice as we get closer and closer towards the end, we begin to focus on smaller shapes and details such as vents, panels, and small components that help to reinforce the vehicle's function. For colour, we kept it plain with subtle variations as we knew we'd be designing skins later, and also that military vehicles tend to be a little bit less on the understated side. And we made sure to avoid excessive rust or wear, as the LUV needed to feel like a well-maintained military asset, not a scavenged machine that you'd find in Mad Max or a post-apocalyptic setting. And this also fits in with our project brief, which is a casino that has a lot of money behind it, a weapons dealer and things like this. So the vehicle needs to reflect that level of wealth and investment too. Once we've finished designing our vehicle, we do a turnaround sheet. This is aimed primarily to help 3D artists who are coming after us to model the vehicle. It is vital that it communicates every necessary detail for modeling and texturing to allow them to crack on with their work without having to come back and forth to you to ask different details. And in this instance, our turnaround showed the front, rear, side views, top down, 3/4 angle of the vehicle, as well as showing materials and scale. And when considering lighting for turnarounds, you want to keep it as balanced as possible so that you can show as much of the form without losing detail in harsh shadows, but still being able to show the full body of the vehicle. Once this is approved, we can move on to playing with some fun skin variations. These cosmetic variations explore different colour schemes and decals, showing the vehicle's adaptability across context without looking cartoonish or gimmicky, while also serving players who enjoy collecting skins or things like that. Designing a military LUV for a modern first-person shooter isn't just about making something that looks cool. It's about serving gameplay, supporting narrative, fitting the art direction of the project as a whole, and creating something a 3D team can confidently build. From the first silhouette to the final render, every line, panel, bolt, it all has a purpose. And remember, form follows function. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Your feedback helps us know what kind of content you want to see more of from the team here at Athena Productions. See you next time.